Sorry?
I said I haven't been here since the opening day. So
Well,
are we still
welcome.
going this week?
We are, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Welcome everyone to your Sunday evening calm. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Jenna, and I will be here to help guide you through the next 60 minutes of your practice. I think it's really important to note that this practice is yours and that you are your own best teacher. So if I cue something that maybe doesn't feel right in this moment in your body, please go ahead and do whatever does feel good for you. If you need help with a different variation of a pose, just let me know and I can help guide you into something that is hopefully a little bit more supportive. So this class has 3 different elements to it. It's restorative, hatha, and gentle flow. So this evening I thought we could work on some spinal awareness. So if you haven't already found your way to your mat, go ahead and come supine, so lying on your back, with a bolster underneath your knees. So placing a bolster underneath your knees can really help support the low back. And then when you're ready, perhaps allowing your eyes to come to rest. This may be closing your eyes, or maybe if that doesn't feel right, you can allow your gaze, your drishti, to fall upon something in front of you, trying to see if you can minimize any strain in the eyes. As you come into a supported position of your choice, your eyes closed or resting, maybe you can begin to pull your awareness inside, allowing any distractions, any worries to kind of be left at the door. Knowing that for the next 60 minutes, they're there. And you can either leave them here at the end of your practice, or if you'd like to pick them back up, you're more than welcome to pick them back up when you leave. So as we begin to pull our awareness internally, can you allow yourself to maybe focus on your breath? And observe how your breath is residing in your body in this present moment. Trying to observe without judgment, allowing what is to be. From here, I'd like to offer a short body scan before we begin our practice. Perhaps specifically paying attention to how our spines feel. So we'll begin at the crown of our head, our scalp, seeing if we can give permission for the top of our head to completely relax. Moving to the center of your eyebrows, and allow all the muscles there to let go. Maybe you'd like to take the tip of your tongue and trace it around the top of your mouth at the bottom, and then leave it to rest on the bottom of your mouth. Allowing any tension and strain that's in the jaw to gently melt away. Paying attention to the back of the neck, the cervical spine. Observing how it's feeling. Again, mindfully, hopefully without any judgment. Perhaps sending breath there if you feel any tension. Moving down to our shoulders, where we so often tend to carry the weight of the world. Can we take that weight off and allow the shoulders to just be, perhaps breathing some extra space into them. Moving down our back to the thoracic spine. Breathing into the ribs, creating space. Down into the lumbar spine, the low back. Again, breathing in space, exhaling any waste, anything that you no longer need. And then going into our sacral. Breathe space into our tailbone, coccyx, into our pelvic floor. Noticing how that's feeling. And then when you're ready, traveling down to the knees. Breathing space into the knees. Down the calves, into the ankles. How are your ankles doing this evening? And down into the tips of your toes. Can you feel your back body grow heavy and front body growing light? Just taking these next few moments to observe how you're arriving on your mat this evening. So the anatomy of our spine is important for safety. It's important for our body posture and balance. And it houses the central nervous system. It's important to know that there is no one normal body structure. We are all built differently and uniquely. Our spine's foremost priority is stability, and we are most stable in our neutral spine. So throughout this evening's class, I will help you find a neutral spine, both when we're lying down, sitting, and standing up. Also important to note that there are 6 movements of the spine, which we will also be going through. I invite you here to take a few more deep breaths, lengthening the inhale and exhaling back through the nose if that feels comfortable. Maybe as you continue to deepen your breath, you allow the exhale to grow a little bit longer than the inhale. And then when you feel ready, maybe inviting some movement into the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes. Maybe you'd like to expand that movement into your wrists and your ankles. Perhaps rocking your head from side to side. And then if you have a bolster underneath your knees, now might be a good time just to gently place it to the side. Once again, bringing your attention to the back body, to your spine. Can you notice in your low back if there is a little bit of a crescent shape? There's a little bit of space in your low back. Some of us, most of us will have it, but not all of us. Like I said, we're all built differently. So I'd like to begin this class by gently rocking through some pelvic tilts. And this is what will help us find our neutral spine. So if you'd like, you can take your hands to your hip bones, which is your iliac crest. And as you inhale your next breath, perhaps flattening that low back curve. And then as you exhale, releasing and finding that space there once again. So as you inhale, your pelvis is going to tuck under. As you exhale, it's going to go back. So can you rock through a few of these movements with your own breath and your own time? Gently rocking the pelvis forward and back. This is going to help warm up our low back. Then when you're ready, come into a neutral position where your pubic bone is just gently pulling towards your sternum. So your core, you might find a slight core activation here, very small. And this here is your neutral spine lying down. So this is when your spine is the most stable, lying down. Let's take a few more deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, I invite you to take the soles of your feet to the mat, heels close to the sit bones. We're going to prepare for bridge. So as we prepare for bridge, I invite you to move through a few more pelvic tilts. So rocking your pelvis forward and back. And then when you feel ready, the next time you rock your pelvis under, you're going to begin to slowly rise vertebrae by vertebrae, raising your hips off of the ground. When you come to the height that feels comfortable, slowly exhale and release back down. Where would your hands like to be here? Where are they most comfortable for stability? Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, release back down. Keep it going. Inhale up. Exhale down. This time when we inhale to come up, I invite you to hold your bridge at the top, activating your glutes, contracting your core, and maybe seeing if you can visualize 2 blocks between your knees. So your thighs are actually quite active and your knees are pulling in towards one another. You don't want them to splay out. And hold them here for a brief pause as we begin to maybe feel a little bit of burn through the glutes. Knowing that if you're uncomfortable and you'd like to come out of this pose sooner than when I cue it, please feel free to do what's right in your body. If you would like to take a few more clearing breaths here, moving in through the nose, and then as you exhale through the mouth, maybe lowering back down. Again, 1 vertebrae at a time. From here, I invite you to take your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a nice squeeze. And maybe rocking back and forth, giving the lower back a nice massage. Then when you're ready, releasing your right leg down to the floor. So we're going to work on warming up the core here. And the core is really important for the stability of the spine and the safety of the spine. So that's why we're going to work through a bit of that in our warm up. So I invite you to take your hands and interlace them behind the back of your head. So the right leg is down on the floor, heel kind of rooting into your mat here. We're going to begin to activate the core by pulling the belly button in towards the spine. And again, bring that pubic bone closer towards your sternum. And that's where you can feel that activation. On your next inhale, we're going to bring the right elbow to connect to the left knee. Exhale, release the left leg down. Inhale, right knee to left elbow. Exhale, let go. Keep this going. Right elbow, left knee. Exhale, let it go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. A few more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last time to each side. Beautiful. Coming to rest here, maybe extending your hands out behind you
And inviting this long body stretch from the tips of your fingers to the very tips of your toes. And exhaling to release. From here, we're going to turn over onto our favorite side, right or left. Where I encourage you to take 2 cleansing breaths. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then when you're ready, making your way to a seated position, Sukhasana. Where we will begin to go over the different movements of the spine. Take a minute to maybe play around with the positioning of your legs. What's comfortable for you? Is it crossing them? Which way crossing them? Is it maybe having them with the soles of the feet together? Is it maybe having them out long? Which way is best for you? Okay. Go ahead and just find whichever position works best. So maybe you'd like to take your hands to the top of your knees. Maybe you'd like to close your eyes. Maybe you'd like to keep them open. It's your practice. I invite you on an inhale to take the shoulders down, bring the chest forward, and maybe slightly raise your gaze. Exhale, bring the shoulders forward, round through the back of the heart, tucking the chin in towards the chest. Keeping this going in a gentle flow, inhale forward. Exhale back. So as we are doing this movement, we are working through the first 2 spinal movements, spinal extension and spinal flexion. So when we come forward, this is spinal extension, small back bend. And flexion is when we round forward. Now, as we move through our seated cow, how fast would you like to go? How slow would you like to go? What rhythm feels best for you? You maybe want to take 2 more breaths here and then come to a neutral position. If you'd like to keep going, keep going. If you'd like to continue on, you're going to come to a neutral spine in seated. So again, we kind of play around with our pelvis, putting our hands on the iliac crest here. Can we tuck the pubic bone in towards the sternum and find our neutral spine here seated? On your next breath in, I invite you to inhale, connecting the hands up top over the head. Exhale, right hand to the floor, left hand comes up and over. Maybe our gaze turns towards the ceiling. This is lateral spinal flexion. Inhale to come up and switch sides. Would you like to find a little bit of a flow here? Continuing to rotate between one side and the other. If there's any sticky spots, maybe you'd like to pause and hold for a little bit longer. Whenever you feel ready, maybe pausing in neutral, inhaling the hands up over the head. Exhale, heart center, Anjali Mudra. Inhale again. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Would you like to place your hands on your heart here and perhaps set an intention for your practice this evening? A great way to kind of close off our week together in community. If you have an intention you'd like to set, maybe taking a few breaths into that heart center, expanding and acknowledging that intention you set for yourself. When you're ready to continue, maybe you'd like to interlace your hands behind your back, rolling the shoulders down the back, opening through the front of the chest, spinal extension.
Exhale, maybe we fold forward, bringing the hands a little bit off the low back. Maybe not, it's okay. Inhale to contract the core activation as we pull up. Exhale, let's switch. If you're cross-legged, switch whichever leg is on top of the body. Maybe we walk our hands back, fingers pointing behind us. As we inhale, to once again, spinal extension, small back bend. We would like to walk ourselves forward, moving to spinal flexion. Would you like to stay here with your arms outstretched? Or would you like to inhale, halfway lift onto the fingertips? Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. One more time. Lift. Exhale, fold forward. From here, maybe you'd like to walk your hands over to the right. One nice side body stretch through the left. What sensations do you feel there? When you're ready, inhaling to cross over to the other side. Inhale to stretch through those fingertips. Exhale, can you sink a little bit lower? Knowing that we never want to create pain in our practice, but can we flirt with the edge? Inhale to walk back to center. Coming back up to neutral. From here, would you like to take your legs out long in front of you, heels to the ground, toes to the side, back pose. So there's a few different ways we can fold forward in our spinal flexion here. You can walk our hands out. You can have them on top of your shins. Wherever you are, I'd like to invite you to keep a nice long spine here. So we're not rounding forward yet. And see if we can use our breath to kind of nurture our bodies into this posture a little bit more. So inhaling to extend, which is another spinal movement. And although we don't really lengthen the back, we actually just shorten the curves in it so it feels like we're lengthening. So inhale to come forward, exhale. See if we can sink. Following this breath pattern of inhaling to extend, exhale to lower. Inhale to extend, exhale to lower. Inhale to extend, exhale to lower. And when you kind of found that edge where you're not quite in pain yet, but it's a little bit uncomfortable, then maybe you'd like to tuck your chin in towards your chest, rounding through the back of the heart. And where do you feel the sensations in this form? Just noticing again, without judgment. Using our breath to guide us through our practice. On your next inhale, I invite you to slowly come forward, where we can transition into our tabletop. So as we come into our tabletop here, we're going to spread nice and wide through the fingertips, seeing if we can bring our wrists directly under our shoulders, knees under our hips. Is there a way that your body would like to move right now? Do you want to go right into your cat-cow? Would you like to circle through the hips? There's a lot of different options here. We can kind of round through the shoulders, doing some barrel rolls. We're just continuing warming up our spine. And whenever you feel like you've found enough movement, coming to your neutral spine, so there's a slight core activation. Again, pubic bone slightly tucked in towards the sternum. Can you lift your right leg back at hip height? So maybe turn your gaze to look. You're going to see if you can feel a nice long line of energy through the back of your heels, toes pointed towards the mat. Is your leg up really high, or is it at hip level? Go ahead and check. We don't have our lips, our hips level. Do you want to stay here, or would you like to lift the left hand, fingers pointing in front of you, holding it here, or on an exhale, maybe connecting the knee to elbow, rounding through the back. Inhale to open. Exhale to connect. Inhale to open. Exhale to connect. 2 more. Inhale to open one last time, and that's when you will place the hand and the knee back. Maybe just do some windshield wipers through the hips before you move to the other side. Beautiful. When you're ready, lifting that left leg up, hip height, core activation. And again, would you like to stay here? Maybe this side is different. Or would you like to lift the right hand up? Stay here. Or maybe you'd like to connect the knees out. Inhale up. Exhale to connect it. Inhale up. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. And then releasing. From here, I invite you to take your toes together, knees apart, and maybe you'd like to sink into a nice child's pose. Knowing that child's pose isn't always an easy pose. I remember revisiting this pose after I gave birth, and it felt very different. Where would you like to have your hands in child's pose? Would you like to have them stretched out in front of you? Would you like to have them back by your ankles? Would you like to have them fists stacked up on top of one another? Allowing your forehead to come to rest on top of your hands. Where are your knees? Are they out towards the outer edges of your mat, or maybe they're in closer towards one another? There is no right, there is no wrong. Wherever you find yourself, can you send your breath all the way into the lower spine? Where I invite you once again to really see if you can open up the space there, clearing out anything that's stagnant. And then when you're ready, inhaling to roll forward into your tabletop again. Opening nice and wide through those fingertips. We're going to press down through the fingertips and the heel of the hand. Tucking the toes under, exhale, up and back into our first downward dog practice. Would you like to pedal out your dog here? Bending one knee and then the other, maybe working into the hips. Wherever you are, really pressing through the hands. Taking the movement that intuitively your body's asking for. Once you've had that movement, maybe inhaling to come up onto your tippy toes, pressing the floor away, and then exhaling the heels down. Knowing that they do not have to reach the mat. That is not the purpose of this pose. We really want to try to concentrate on our sit bones and getting them up nice and high in the air. It's okay if we bend our knees, it's okay if the heels don't get to the floor. Staying here for one more breath. Then maybe you'd like to take your hands and walk them back towards your feet. Coming into a forward fold. Now when you get to your forward fold, check your feet positioning. How would you like to have them? Do you want to have them further apart, closer together? What's most comfortable for you? As we come into our forward fold, would you like to get your hands to clasp opposite elbows, really allowing your head, neck, and shoulders to hang here? Would you like to rock side to side? Nodding your head yes, shaking your head no, relieving any tension that you may be carrying in your upper body. Then, as you come to stillness, maybe placing your hands on your shin, inhaling to halfway lift.
Really pulling the shoulders back from the ears. Seeing if we can create a nice long line from the tip of the tailbone all the way up through the crown of the head. Next, exhale, releasing to fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward. One more time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward. This time as we come to stand, moving really slow, maybe nice generous bend through the knees, allowing your upper body to really hang heavy. Coming up one vertebrae at a time into mountain pose Tadasana. As we stand, maybe you'd like to inhale your shoulders up to your ears, exhale to lower the back. Would you like to go in the opposite direction? If it doesn't feel good, that's okay. Go in the other one. There are no rules to your practice. And when you're ready, we're going to come into our mountain pose, which is actually a very powerful pose. So with your hips at about hip width apart or maybe wider, we're going to concentrate on really grounding through the four corners of our feet, seeing if we can almost visualize roots growing into the ground. And then as we come here, can we walk forward a bit? And walk back, side, side. Really finding our center and our balance. And then maybe opening through the front of the chest, palms face forward. We're going to pull our knees up into our kneecaps, begin to activate the glutes and the core. Maybe tucking the chin in towards the chest slightly. Can you feel the power as you stand here in this pose? Activate it. So if you'd like to find your neutral spine standing, I invite you to once again place your hands on your hips and rock your pelvis forward and back. It looks like we're finding that space, but the floor is not there anymore in our lower lumbar spine. And then coming to rest in a spot where our pubic bone and our sternum again are kind of just slightly pulling towards one another. This is a neutral spine standing. How does that feel? Do you feel stable? Is there any sensations that are coming up for you? Just notice them. When you're ready, inhaling your hands above your head. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Placing your hands on the mat, stepping back into a high plank where our shoulders come over our wrists. Core is nice and strong here. Or would you like to come down onto your knees for a different variation of our plank, wherever you are. Inhaling to come forward, exhale to lower slowly onto the mat. Placing your hands at your shoulders, inhaling to come up into a low cobra, spinal extension. Exhale, pull it back into our downward facing dog. So one breath here, maybe making it a cleansing breath, breathing in through your nose, and sigh out through your mouth. Beautiful. So you have two choices here, whichever is most comfortable for you. Maybe stepping forward to your hands, or again, walking your hands back to your feet into your forward fold. What works best for you? Halfway lift again. Exhale, release. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Maybe revisiting that intention that you may have set for yourself at the beginning of practice. Inhale, hands to exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward, placing your hands on the mat, stepping back with the opposite foot this time, followed by the other. Coming to your high plank, maybe your knees as a different variation. Exhale through your chaturanga. Inhale into your low cobra, maybe your high cobra. Or would you like to experiment with an upper facing dog? Up to you. Exhale, release.
Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, coming up. Maybe a little bit of a flow here. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. From here, taking a small pause, maybe bringing our hands behind our back. Palms are facing up. Maybe from here, you'd like to inhale and lift one leg up. Exhale, release. Inhale, the other. Exhale, release. This time, maybe you'd like to inhale both. Exhale, release. Inhale, bringing your head, neck, and shoulders off the ground. Exhale, release. This time, maybe you'd like to put it all together. Inhaling, head, neck, shoulders on stand legs off the ground. Beautiful pose for strengthening the back. Exhale, release. Inhale one more time. Come up. Exhale, release. Bringing our hands underneath our shoulders. Inhaling up and back into a downward facing dog. Beautiful. From here, I'd like to invite you to raise your right leg into a 3-legged down dog, toes pointing towards the mat, hips level to one another. As you exhale, bringing the knee forward in between your hands. Maybe you take your hand and help it get there. And then the left foot's going to come down on a 45-degree angle as we inhale to come up into our warrior one. Fingers really reaching for the sky here, bending through that right knee. Take a look. Is your knee going over your toes? If it is, can you pull it back? Hang around with the rotation of our arms here. You can take our pinkies and turn them in internally rotating your shoulders. Beautiful. Exhale, release. Hands come to the mat. Step it back, high plank. Coming down to our knees. Or above full plank, whichever you'd like. Exhale to release. Inhale into your cobra or up dog. Exhale, bring it back down to 60 dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, bring that foot forward. Dropping the right foot on the 45-degree angle. Warrior one on the other side. As we exhale, opening up into our warrior two, so the right foot comes to the long edge of our mat. From here, we're going to turn to the long side of our mat, toes in, heels out. Taking our hands to our hips, inhaling to grow tall, exhale, fold forward. Bringing our hands down to the mat. Maybe you'd like to inhale halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Placing the left hand into the middle of our mat, inhaling the right hand up. Pausing here for a breath. Exhale, releasing the right hand down, placing it in the middle of the mat, and inhaling the left arm. Would you like to find a flow here? Releasing and going to the other side. Paying attention to our body's needs. Making sure we're not inviting any pain into our practice and moving with our breath. Let's do one more on each side. Releasing both hands to the mat. We're going to walk to the back end of our mat, coming into our warrior two on the other side. So the left foot comes to the long edge of the mat. Right foot bent. Inhale. Maybe we bring the right hand to the inside of that right leg, painting the sky. as we reach the left hand. Exhale to reverse our warrior, keeping that knee bent. Right. Can we find a little bit of flow here? Inhaling forward. Exhaling to relax. And then coming back to neutral. Maybe we would like to straighten that right leg. Inhaling our hands up to the sky. Exhale, can we push the sky away, coming back into our warrior. Inhale up. Exhale, push away. Maybe we can visualize any tension or stress that we may have had in our week. Really pushing it away, letting it go. Next time we inhale up, keeping our legs straight, releasing our hands to our hip, and allowing our left foot to come on more of a 45-degree angle as we rotate hips forward to the back of our mat. Inhaling to lengthen the spine, exhale to fold forward. Maybe you would like to grab a block here, putting it to the inside of that right foot, and inhaling the left hand up. Once again, finding ourselves in spinal rotation. Pausing here for a breath. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend through the right knee and inhale back into our warrior two. Inhale, straighten the leg, bring the hands up. And then switch to the other side. Finding a little bit of a flow here on our other side. Exhale, push it away. Then into our warrior two. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Beautiful. And as we inhale up this last time, keeping that left leg straight, we're going to rotate our hips to the front of our mats with our right foot on a 45-degree angle. And you might want to adjust your stance here, taking your legs shorter, a shorter distance. Whatever feels good for you, you don't have to have them really long. Once again, taking our hands to our hips. We want to make sure we have a micro bend in that knee. You don't want to lock the knee. Inhaling to extend. Exhale, fold forward. Stay here, or maybe you'd like to take a block to the inside of that left foot and open up into Trikonasana, triangle. Other side. Pausing here for a breath. When you're ready, bending through the left knee, inhaling to come up into our warrior two. From here, I invite you to once again turn to the long edge of your mat. Heels in, toes out. We are going to exhale to come into our yogi squat malasana. You can use a block if you have take this and sit on the block. Maybe it might feel right in your practice to bring your hands to heart center, pushing your knees apart with your elbows.
Wait a minute.
Pause. You can also use your bolster if your blocks aren't working. Yep. We can also come down to the floor as well. If the blocks or the bolster are not working, you can come down to the floor as well. Okay. Beautiful. So that's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Yes. Pausing here for a breath, reflection, and then when you're ready, you have a prop gently facing it to the side. We're going to sit down on our sit bones and open up into our wide-legged forward.
from here, would you like to walk your hands forward? Once again, coming into spinal flexion. We're going to hold here just for a few minutes. So I'd like to invite you to come to your edge once again. So that point where there's not pain, there may be a little bit of discomfort, but you can still quite easily breathe. And if that sensation kind of changes and you find that after 30 seconds, you find that it's more painful, then go ahead and back out of that. Now in this class, I've purposely put a lot more spinal extension into the practice because we often carry a lot of stress and therefore round through our shoulders. So we'll pause here for a few moments. And then as we wind down our practice, we'll end in a restorative fish pose to help reverse all that time we spend on the phone, typing, maybe at the computer, and also that natural stress response to round forward. A few more deep breaths here. Remembering that if I have not cued to come out of a pose and you are uncomfortable and want to come out of it, please do so. Make this your own practice. One last breath. And then when you're ready, inhaling to come up. Maybe you would like to take your right arm, palm face open, on your right leg. Inhaling the left hand up and over. Once again, finding ourselves in lateral extension. Pausing here for a breath, and then switching sides. Inhaling to come up. Maybe interlacing your hands behind your back, and once again, coming into spinal extension. Nice part here. And then releasing that, allowing your hands to come to the outsides of your knees, bringing them together, placing the soles of your feet on the mat, and maybe gently windshield wipering them back and forth, releasing that little bit of a hold that you just did. Coming to neutral when you're ready, when you feel like you've taken enough movement. We're going to take the left leg long. Once again, ground the heel in towards your mat, toes towards your nose. We're going to inhale as we cross the right ankle over the left knee. So option one, we can stay here. Option two, we can inhale our hands up over our head. Exhale the right hand behind us, fingers pointing away. And releasing the left elbow to the right knee. Can we inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale to rotate? Following this pattern of inhaling to lengthen, exhale to gently rotate. The very last spinal movement is compression. That's the sixth and final one. When you're ready, we're going to take our gaze forward first on an inhale. Release that left hand. Take the right foot uncross it. Bring the left foot to the mat and hold over the knees gently. Are there any sensations that come up for you in this posture? If so, where are they? Can you breathe some loving energy into those spaces? When you're ready to come up, inhaling slowly, lengthening the right leg, crossing the left foot over the right knee. Staying here. Or maybe you would like to inhale. Hands up. Exhaling the left hand behind you, allowing the right elbow to come to the outside
of the left knee. Once again, inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to rotate the gaze heavily. Following these slight movements of inhale. Inhaling to bring the gaze forward. Releasing the right hand and the left. Taking both feet back in front of you for stack pose. Inhaling to lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Small pause here, one breath. Inhale. From here, we're going to make our way back to our backs. Taking the time to get there. I'm going to invite you to move into a restorative bridge. So we're going to take the heels close towards the sit bones. Grab either a block or your bolster, depending on what height you like. And just placing it underneath your lower back. Seeing here how you would like to have your hands. Do you want to have them palm face down or palm face up? What height do you want to have the blocks, or would a bolster maybe be better? Be here for a few moments. Seeing if you can challenge yourself to mindfully stay present. Taking in all the different senses. Your hearing, your eyes, are they open, are they closed? If they're open, what can you see? If they're closed, what can you see? What can you feel? The floor beneath you, is it cold, is it warm? The clothes on your body. Is there a taste or a smell? More breaths here. The mind is wander, gently bringing it back into the room. And when you feel ready, removing any props that you may have under your spine. Maybe you would like to hug your knees in close to your chest. Maybe you would like to take your nose to your knees, last little bit floor. Giving yourself, hopefully, some appreciation and gratitude for showing up for yourself and for the community. Knowing that when we take care of ourselves, we make the world a better place. When you're ready, exhaling to release.
be set up for the most important posture of the evening, Shavasana. I'm going to offer fish pose, which is a heart opener. If you have a bolster, you can bring it to the long edge of your mat, just in the middle. You're going to bring it right to the low back, to the sit bones. Exhale to come back. Maybe your arms folded to the side, opening up the palms to the sky. Or maybe if you need more grounding, you'd like to have your palms down. Where does your head lie? Would you like to place the bolster so that your head is back more in the classic fish pose? Or would you like to have it more rested with its chin tucked in? Would you like to put a blanket over you? Would you like to have blocks under your knees or blankets under your knees? Gently folding ourselves into this final posture, this final form of the evening. See if you can allow yourself to melt any last little tension away from the body into the earth. Once again, returning to a short body scan to see the difference in our body from now, from the beginning of our practice to now. And once again, I encourage you to do so without judgment. Maybe feeling the back body grow heavy, front body extending towards the moon, rising. A reflection on quiet. Sometimes when we hit a twist on our journey, the best thing to do is to do less. To not push through, to not force anything, but to simply allow ourselves space to rest, reconnect within, retreat from daily stresses, and find an inner peace. To seek and create a space where there is nothing to do, nothing to fix, nothing to figure out. A place to slow down and rejuvenate our soul. Closing your eyes to remove external distractions, even for a moment, and connecting to your breath is a retreat and can be done anywhere. A retreat does not require vast amounts of time and money, and can be as simple or as grand as you desire and are able to work into your life. How might you apply these ideas for quiet or retreat in your daily life?
on your next inhalation. Slowly and gently inviting the breath back into your body. Deepening your inhale and your exhale. See if you can invite that breath into the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes. Maybe allowing that breath to transform into small movements. Maybe gently allowing your head to roll. Making any small adjustments and movements that you can prepare. Breathe. Come over onto your left side. I encourage 2 cleansing breaths to really bring your practice home. So in through the nose, out through the mouth, side out. Top arm, pushing yourself to come to facing position. If it feels right for you in your practice, you can lay your hands to the hip. Thank you so much for joining us all together on our mats this evening. It's been so much fun to help guide you through such a beautiful practice. The divine light in me honors and sees the divine light in each and every one of you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. I'm just going to say goodbye to our lovely friends online. Please